Minimalism to the max. I'm Jay, Steph's on vacation, and this is Modern Motoring. Welcome to your 2022 Volvo XC60. As mentioned in the intro, Steph is away on vacation, so you are stuck here with me. I'll try and be as quick as I can. This is just a quick spin review for you. So a couple of differences this year. Let's start with the outside. So the front end gets a little bit of tweaking, a little more angles. Still recognizable as a Volvo through and through and through some more. Around the rear, there are no visible tailpipes. Volvo is pushing to go all electric, I believe, by 2030, so I think this design language fits in quite nicely. Still a clean look around the rear, no issues at all. The entire body style still is the same, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind minimalism. I think this is a little too bland for my tastes. I'm not saying make it as edgy as something else out there. I don't want to name any names. But if you're okay with a bit of a simpler look in your luxury SUVs, then the XC60 should check off at least that exterior design box. Side profile is still the same. You have the silver trim going around the windows. I really like the Thor's Hammer headlight design. It's been like this, I believe, since 2014, maybe 2015, when that XC90 complete redo came out. And that was, I think, 12 years in the making. And I'm happy Volvo has stuck with it. It's such a clean and creative design, and yes, the Thor's Hammer, little nod to Sweden there as far as heritage goes, and I like it. I don't have any issues with it. I love how they've integrated the headlights, the day runners, the high beams, and the turret signal all into one beautifully and very cleanly designed housing. A couple of new things for 2022 include new paint color options as well as new rim designs. I like what Volvo Canada has spec'd this with. It's a nice clean 5-spoke design, couple of different elements to each spoke, but through and through it's got a nice clean look to it, and I've never had any big issues with the design of the current generation XC60, and this 2022 model is no exception. On to the inside we go, and minimalism is the key here. And for example, there are no words on these steering wheel controls. It's all symbols. In fact, the only word on the steering wheel itself is the word Volvo, because that is their logo right in the middle here. I'm not a fan of the big 12.3-inch screen. There's too much reliance on doing too many things with the screen. You can get your volume through a hard touch button / dial, as well as your play and pause. You can get your hazards, your windshield defroster, as well as your rear window defroster, forwards and backwards for tracks, but that's pretty much it. You got to dig into everything else. I'd rather my attention be focused here as much as possible, as opposed to looking over and trying to figure out if I'm putting my heated seat on, my massage seat, which is a paid upgrade, or digging through anything else here. I don't think they're going to change. I think that's the way the industry is going. I just wish there was a little more on the hard touch button option here in the Volvo lineup. This has been spec'd with a white interior, added points for the panoramic sunroof, which makes it an even brighter and less closed-in space to be. The seats are typical Volvo, extremely comfortable. In fact, they're my favorite seats in the industry. If one of them fell off the back of a truck, I know a guy who would happily take them and use it as his office chair. Digital dashboard gets you everything you need. You hit the settings button and it goes from just a nice minimalistic design to getting your map in the center screen. You can also get it through your infotainment system, which is Google powered. It helps as far as not being too reliant, because yes, you can use the voice controls. I'm a little more of a traditionalist, where I do like a few more hard touch buttons. The start stop knob is a little plasticky for my liking. You just twist it once to get it to start or stop. I wish it was a little more reinforced. That would do it for me. Behind that, you get your parking brake and your auto hold. And in front of that, you get your gear selector. Now, the cool thing here is it lights up at night as far as the crystal one goes. And it's gimmicky, but I like it. It's kind of cool. No big issues with that at all. Storage on the door pockets are pretty good. Storage in the middle, not all that great. The little cubby behind my elbow is a little smaller than I'd like. You get your cup holders and you get your wireless charger here in the middle, so that kind of eliminates any storage space. You do get a tiny, tiny little spot right at the top, and I don't really know if you can fit anything in there. I know that I can't. So I kind of maybe rather than just not include that. And yes, your 12 volts there, so it does serve some function, but not really enough for me. Let's get to the driving section. So this is the B6 inscription. Now there's a B5, and the B5 and the B6 replace the T5 and the T6. So what I have here in the B6 is a 2-liter turbo 4, and it's got an electronic supercharger. So my total output is 310 pound-feet of torque and 295 horsepower, all through an 8-speed automatic. And yes, this is their all-wheel drive. So with the B5, it's still a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. There is no supercharger, and your horsepower and torque figures come in the mid-2s. Here's my take on the driving. It's smooth, it's quiet, eats up all the bumps, does exactly what it's supposed to. I find that it's a little sluggish when you're trying to get up to speed. Now, it's still a safe car through and through. You won't have any issues getting onto the highway. You won't have any issues getting out of a collision situation. I feel for the power numbers that are on paper, I should have more response beneath my right foot, and I just don't feel it here with the B6 variant. So I wouldn't go down to the B5. I think there's a good amount of power here. I would just like a little more responsiveness when I kick down and just get that instant surge. And I find it's more of a gentle yet firm push forward, again, as opposed to that hard push, hard jolt. Not quite snapping your head back into the headrest, but I want to be able to feel the surge forward, and I just don't have that here with the B6. Volvo Canada has equipped this with the optional air suspension, so that certainly helps with the ride quality. And interestingly, speaking of ride quality and driving, there is only one drive mode. That's not really true, 1.5. There's only drive, there's no eco, there's no sport, there's no sport plus. There is an off-road mode you can get to through the infotainment system, but it's pretty much start the car, pop it and drive, and off you go back to that minimalism setting that Volvo has latched onto, and I think it's serving them pretty well. I really don't know how many people, if given the option depending on their vehicle, bounce through Eco and Sport Plus and any of the other drive modes. I feel the majority of drivers will just sit in Comfort or Normal or whatever it happens to be called. Pretty spacious in the rear seats, so you can get 2 adults, and if you don't like somebody, put them in the middle seat, and that's not a XC60 issue. That isn't pretty much anything with a second row of seats issue. But it is fairly spacious back there, and just to double down again on the spacious feel, because it's got the white interior, it feels bigger, and the panoramic sunroof certainly makes things a lot higher on the comfort scale, as opposed to having that closed-in feeling. On the standard safety side, you get your blind spot monitoring, and you get your bending headlights. Definitely helps going around corners when you can see exactly what's around there, and you get your collision mitigation braking for the front and the rear. Tick a few more option boxes and you get your elevated safety, but out of the box, Volvo does it pretty well. So there's a 48-volt mild hybrid system, and it comes in handy and it works very well, because with the auto start stop, which you cannot turn off, which is a little puzzling for me, it makes that transition between stopping the vehicle at a stoplight and the engine shutting off and coming back to life seamless, quiet, no vibrations, no rumbling. You can't even notice it. And a little bit of newness for me to it. I find that the car was lurching like a fraction of an inch, but I couldn't quite get that seamless movement between lifting my foot off the brake and moving without having it just surge or jolt me forward a little bit. And again, I only drive these a week at a time with a little more practice. Let's say if I had it for a 6-month lease or a 1-year lease, I'm sure the muscle memory would kick in and I would be completely fine. On the fuel consumption side, in liters per 100 kilometers, because we are in Canada, it's 11 even on the city and 8.7 on the highway, and the blended total comes out to 9.9. We can thank the 48-volt mild hybrid system for that, because that's reduced it, I believe, 0.2 over the 2021 model, which did not have the mild hybrid system. So it works, it's here to help you save fuel, and the best part for me is it's pretty much seamless all the way through. A lot of competition here for the XC60. We have the X3, we have the GLC class, we have the RDX, we have the NX, and on the domestic side we have Lincoln's Corsair. I think Volvo will do well. It's not going to be for everybody. I think the other German models have a higher appeal to them, that people want more, but for the right driver, for the right customer, this Volvo XC60 will do everything that is on your list and then some. A lot of it focuses on minimalism, a smooth drive, a quiet drive, not a lot of road noise comes bleeding through, and if it does, just make sure you take that option for the Bowers & Wilkins premium audio system, which sounds absolutely heavenly. Even I sound good with my band playing through the audio system, so well done there. That's going to wrap it up for the 2022 Volvo XC60 B6 Inscription. That's a lot of words. If you've got any questions, let us know in the comments. We read all of them and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We'd love for you to join our community, so subscribe to our channel. Join us on social media. We are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well as TikTok. And thank you for watching. We appreciate the support, and thank goodness this is done. Next video will have Steph in it for sure.